Welcome to KIVUMBI 2022. This is the first day of the new month, November 2021. A very good evening and welcome to our show tonight. And this is our newsroom. This is where we're getting ready with all the stories. A new day, new headlines, new stories. We're getting ready to show you that at the top of the hour. And of course, this is a team of editors and reporters right here in the newsroom getting ready with what you need to know at the top of the hour. Also, your newspaper headlines tomorrow. Welcome to the show tonight. And indeed, 6 months to voters have to make up their mind for the party candidates. They have until April of next year. Those going independently have until the end of May. But ideally, aspirants should have already made up their minds by now, not to wait until they fall off the nomination list. Most do that when they are defeated. They turn to be independent candidates, and an illegality that the law is attempting to address by shortening the registration period. But can the law adequately intervene in a political process? Well, practice shows us otherwise. This is why tonight we examine party hopping, defections and realignment. I will be on data tonight where I will tell you what the law says and also lay bare the recent defectors, notable ones at that. Akisa.
And the most notable ones are the top leaders. In Kenya, it is true that parties belong to individuals. Individuals are actually the parties. In fact, they dictate the life of that very political party. It is also true that the law cannot adequately hack a political process, especially open ones like nomination processes, where political outfits brazenly abuse their own party constitution for expediency's sake. So tonight we have a panel of politicians who know one or two things about defections, shifting loyalties and alignments. We speak to former Arienda Member of Parliament, Engineer Nicholas Gumbo, former Speaker of the 9th Parliament, Farah Malim, and Mule Musau, who's the National Coordinator at the Elections Observer Group ELOG. But news comes fast at 9 p.m. Ken Mijungu and I will be right here with the day's top stories. Sophia.
And indeed, Akisa, it could be perhaps be described as sleepless nights for the politicians trying to craft strategies that will firmly put them on the path to clinch power in 2022. The vehicle of choice, or political party, if you like, is no doubt an important component. This has ostensibly seen the political transfer window open as players work on the arithmetic that will win. From now, in just a few minutes, I will be joined by Nairobi Senator Johnson Zakaja, who once served as chairman of the now defunct TNA. We interrogate these alignments and realignments, the place of ideology in such shifts, and the legal framework meant to regulate such activities. But before that conversation, Ken is on standby with some of the data that we're looking at tonight, the rights of a political party and what governs these vehicles as they're largely described here in the country, Ken.
Right, Sophia, let's set the stage for your discussion with Super Senator Johnson Zakaja tonight. And of course, this data will be comprehensive at 10 p.m. But let's set the stage. And we begin with the party transfer window, the political parties as they are currently in the country. And there are 75 fully registered political parties in the country. 10 parties, they say the registration process is in progress, while 22 of the political parties have provisional certificates ready, so they are yet to be fully registered as political parties in the country. Of course, after telling you the political parties, let's see the law that deals with how you participate in an election. And this, we look at Article 38 of the Constitution that gives you the right. So every citizen is free to form or participate in forming a political party of choice, to participate in the activities or recruit members for a political party, or to campaign for a political party or a cause that they believe in. So those are some of the rights that you are given as a citizen by Article 38. It goes ahead to say that you participate in any elective public body or office, or alternatively any office of any political party of which you, the citizen, is a member. That's a right, an express right given to you by Article 38 of the Constitution. Further, Article 38 says every adult citizen has the right to, without unreasonable restrictions, be a registered voter. Also, you have the right to vote by secret ballot in any election or referendum. And of course, there are more of those rights that you are given to be a candidate for a public office or office within a political party. And further, a member of a political party without his or your consent. So it must be that you're a member of that political party, and it has to be with your express consent, not what happened the other month when you woke up and found yourself in a political party. You don't subscribe to their ideologies. And of course, they're the rights of a party member. Once you're a registered party member, what are your rights? The first right is you have the right to participate in all the activities of that political party that you believe in, and you have also the right to campaign for a political party or cause. And of course, that's not all the rights given. You have the right to contest for leadership position in a political party of your choice. You can run as a candidate in party to nomination for candidates for general elections and by elections. And of course, after telling you the rights, we can't stop without telling you how you stop being a member of a political party. So the first is by resignation. Once you resign, you cease being a member of that political party. Expulsion, you can be expelled, and we'll be telling you comprehensively about some members of political parties, some practicing politicians who have been expelled by their political parties, and through deeming. So the political party just thinks that you have stopped being a member of that party. So through deeming, you effectively stop being a member of a political party. And of course, the last one that happens often, and we've seen it in the last year or so, natural attrition. So when that happens, definitely you cease being a member of a political party. We still have a lot to tell you about political parties and what you have to look forward to, and our discussion at the top of the hour. But first, Senator Zakaja is already on set with Sophia Wanuna. Sophia.
Thank you, Ken, for that. The rights for members who would like to be part, or individuals, Kenyans, like to be part of political parties, and also how, in fact, one can be expelled and some of the rules governing that. So indeed, these are constitutional standards we've seen in as far as how political parties are regulated in this country, and even have an oversight and governance in the registrar office of the Registrar of Political Parties. So to talk more about this party hopping season, the season of defections is here. I have with me, as I mentioned earlier, Johnson Zakaja, who is the Nairobi Senator. Thank you for joining us, Super Senator.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Kabisa.
Your first time here on KIVUMBI 2022.
Yes.
And perhaps for you, you started out as chairman, TNA, then that collapsed into Jubilee.
Yes.
And now, I'm sure I'll be right to say ANC is where you are headed.
No, I'm in Jubilee.
Yes.
And I've said it publicly.
Yes.
That the party, I've never been a member of any other party. In fact, Jubilee is by virtue of TNA, because TNA got into Jubilee.
Yeah.
That's a party of which I'm a member. Of course, the party is considering partnering with many different people. And I think it's for us to wait and see who Jubilee then partners with. Yeah. Then decisions will be made. As you said, it's a season where people are going to make decisions based on the different political aspirations, their regions, where they're coming from, where they're vying. And those decisions will be made by that time.
But for all intents and purposes, Senator, some of the rules governing these political parties is that when you are promoting the ideals of another party, then in essence you're deemed to have left that party. Wouldn't it be fair in your case, and I'm sorry I'm starting on your part, we'll talk about the larger conversation, but on your part, you have been with a party leader, ANC, you have been talking the same language, so you would be, by dint of this, be seen to have decamped.
What are the ideals of a party that is different from ours? Because if you're promoting the ideals of a different party that are opposed to your party, then that's when you're doing something wrong. So what are those ideals that are promoted that are apart from Jubilee?
Is it a different or just of a different party? Not different ideals. It's a different party. It's a different entity.
If you promote ideals of a different party and the ideals are the same as your party, are you deemed to have left? No, I mean, those are the words you've used. Because Jubilee, in fact, I together with the team, the team we had of strategy, I was leading that team, and we came up with the slogan, Tuko Pamoja. What we believe in is unity, coming together. That's why you said Tuhamwe, Wankanyakla, Kulialala, all across the country. Yeah. My party, as of now, has no presidential aspirant. I don't know if you've had anyone vying for presidency under Jubilee. And so, in as much as Jubilee has been in the season of talking with other parties, we've had them proposing a merger with ODM, etc. I felt it's good also for me to say, look, one of the people I believe holds those ideals is Musalia Mudavadi. Right. But everywhere I've gone, including during Oka meetings, I've said I am here as Jubilee, I have no intentions of leaving my party until certain decisions are made within the party that will make me then make a choice as to which party then I would go to if I have to move.
And talking about just this leaving one party to the other, from where you sit, what is the biggest driver of that? Is it just pure looking out for self-interest in terms of the political class? Or do you believe, are convinced that there could be some bigger ideology, bigger picture when we see these kind of things happen?
Unfortunately, in our country, you see, there are people who look at a party as a home, as a house, as a home where you develop an ideology, you make sure every room is clean, every room has certain people in it. And the parties today, if you ask me, who is the treasurer of ODM, for instance, in Lainisaba in Kibera, I'll tell you, because they see it as a home. Other parties see themselves as vehicles, that once we've reached our destination, it's like an Uber. You got in there, it's over, you don't remember the number plate, and it's done. And that's the emptiness of our politics. So a lot of the decisions, because if you ask me today, the chair of Jubilee Nairobi, I don't know who it is. Yet I was a national chair of a party.
Wow.
Because it doesn't focus. Yet other people who are more pragmatic will say, okay, they major on the minor things, on who is the sub-treasurer of where, but they don't end up then delivering. And Jubilee has been pragmatic enough to do whatever it takes to win an election. So, I mean, the jury is out there. But I think even moving away from the individuals, the future of this country would be solid if the political future of this country has parties based on ideology. And which is I was asking, which ideals are different? Today, all the parties we have are talking about the same thing. They're talking about the common person. They're talking about how to deal with the economy, about debt, about alleviating people from poverty. We have not reached a place where you can say for certain that this party stands for this, and this other party stands for the different thing. So the decisions people are going to make will just be very politically pragmatic decisions of in which party, one, am I welcome? Two, do I have better chances of winning my seat? And three, will I be comfortable being a member of that party? That is all. There's no one who will make a move based on, I believe in social democracy, so I'm going to this party. Or I believe in devolution. All parties, you know, and Tony Blair writes about it in his book, that the days of the black and white, you know, divide of the liberal and the conservative or the labor, or what you have the Republicans and Democrats, in a third world country like ours are long gone because it's about efficacy. We all know the problem. You know, we look at Nairobi, you know, we need water, we need a transport system, healthcare. The problem is the same. So we look at efficacy. So who or which party then has a more compelling idea of how to deal with the problems we all agree on. So you'll not find a huge ideological divide. Not now and not in years to come.
I mean, the big picture, as you say, rightfully, right now everyone is focused on the economy in one way or the other. However, in terms of what are the priority areas, because that's a huge space, you're seeing the differences of Kalonzo talking about 24-hour economy. He's yet to be very clear about how he's going to achieve that. Mudavadi is talking about debt reduction as well as taxes. You have the likes of the former Prime Minister talking about this cushioning of 6,000 shillings. So there's that priority. So, you know, this person will come in and focus on this. But the thing is, this party hopping and the political parties in discipline is largely then driven by it. There isn't that real founding and grounding, if you like, of these individuals across board. It's not one side.
We tried to do it, you know, with TNA, and I think we're making progress, because in between elections, what the party does is what defines the party, not at the election. In between elections, we had midterm reviews for our governors. We'd say, look, these are the manifesto you went on, these are the TNA manifesto, how well are you doing? We'd score them. We did trainings all across for youth, you know, for women, and try to, you know, create an ideological standpoint where you could be able to distinguish that if there's a governor elected on this party, this is how he'll address devolution, this is how he'll address, you know, finance issues, etc. That has not been done, unfortunately. So I'm telling you, Sophia, this is transfer season. You're going to see a lot of changes. I think we've seen a few recently. People are waiting for maybe, you know, because by February you need to be in a party. So between December and January, there'll be a lot of movement. And then after that, after the primaries, many people will go on to become independent. Now what we have today is that the Political Parties Act was amended to try and stop that because it was convenient then for the political party leaders. But now it is not, and I know a lot of changes are being proposed to be brought, changes of the law, including admitting what we call corporate sponsorship. Because you're trying to create coalitions and say, okay, my party can be a member of this party, as it was before, with NAC and with PNU. Can we see the all members of PNU as a corporate entity? So those changes will happen. It's sad that The last person who's being thought about is the voter.
Yeah.
And the Kenyan person, because now it is about survival and making sure you get your seat.
Yeah, because with either survival or suicide, as some were referencing this recent move by the Governor Kirinyaga County.
Yes.
But I wonder this Jubilee situation with UDA, because when you interview and speak to any of those guys in UDA, the folks there, they'll say, oh, but there's this partnership. So in essence, I am still in Jubilee. There's nothing wrong. Is that your understanding of this, that they have not crossed that red line in that they're advocating or propagating the policies or championing for UDA as a party, that this is just
I think
like
they're
a
very
coalition?
smart.
Yeah.
They're very smart. They picked a party that was within Jubilee. PDP, where we have the deputy leader of majority in the Senate, Senator Dulo, who was the first elected member in that party.
Yeah.
So really, if you look at the law per se, they have not done anything wrong. And people will always find roots.
Yeah.
However, I'm sure in February, thereabout, you'll see mass defection of those members from Jubilee and say, okay, I've left this as a party and joined this other party, in as much as we have a pre-election coalition. So what we have, I think, is a post-election coalition agreement with PDP, if I'm not wrong. And it allows them then to move. So, I mean, people, you have to be smart. You have to make a move.
But then that speaks to, is it in your case, from where you said that there's some gaps in law, or is it that we're just going against what?
You see the law, the more a country has laws, the more it has problems.
Yes, messed up.
Because we are trying to tie people to parties that believe in nothing, stand for nothing. And I think the Registrar of Political Parties has probably done a very poor job. In the last few years, that office has not ensured, one, parties are spending their money on political building political institutions. It's been billions, as opposed to when we were running parties, it was very little money then. But now it's in billions. What activities have you seen these parties doing, apart from campaigning, What leadership academies have you seen in these parties? What is going on in the grassroots? Where is that money going to? And we need an audit of these big parties in terms of that have been receiving this money. Because the reason why the Political Parties Fund was brought in was so that we divorce the individual from the party, that this party is not a party fashioned in the image of the party leader because he's funding it, but because it's being funded by Kenyans. That's why you have parties like ANC in South Africa, where they could even expel. They can expel their leader.
President.
They can expel a president because the individual does not own the party. Today, if the Right Honorable Raila Odinga moves from ODM and goes to UDA, they'll all move. They'll say, in fact, this is what we really wanted. We believe in that position. If the deputy president moves to ODM, they'll say, in fact, that's what we've been waiting for. So that's the emptiness. And I hope in our generation, we'll be able to see a change and a move from that to real issues.
Yeah, and so these proposals around the political parties and the governance of that space, then that would claw back what was intended, why we even have an Registrar of Political Parties, that office.
It will. And it's unfortunate, I'm just being real with you, but that's what's coming. You will be covering it here.
So we're just accepting, we're this kind of people. Indiscipline is the order of the day, so let's just own it.
It is group survival. So everybody says, look, I think we all need to have a window after the primaries or before the primaries, or even if we're bringing our parties together. So there's one school of thought that wants many parties to come together to form a grand coalition, and there's another school of thought that wants to have loose arrangements. They will negotiate in Parliament, and you might find that as a law. The question is, what is the best thing for our country moving forward? Why do we lock people into parties that actually really stand for nothing? We have, Ken has given us a list, I think almost 97 parties.
Yeah.
Do you have 97 different ideologies in this country? Do you have 97 different ways of looking at healthcare, or looking at public transport? No. So all these parties, many are briefcase parties, and people don't shut down their parties because they know towards the election you want nomination fees from aspirants. So it's really business, and it's terrible. I think we're in a bad place. We need to, and those of us who believe in institutionalizing our politics, need to take a stand and say, look, let us create parties that stand for something.
For something. 75 fully registered political parties from the data Ken was sharing.
10 in progress.
And 10 in progress. I mean, we're going to, and remember still, there's the independent folks, the candidates after that. So the Registrar of Political Parties urged all parties to hold primaries in one day. This was a proposal she made, saying that this would minimize these defections. What do you make of that proposal?
It's impractical.
Yeah.
Because parties hold their nominations in polling stations, and the polling stations are the same. So, for instance, if we were to do our nominations for Nairobi, the same schools that we'd use for those primaries because we'd expect to do primaries in all the polling stations, or at least a big percentage, are the same ones that the other party would require to use. So you can't have them. And also, the political, once you mobilize politically, for instance, if my party is doing nominations and I'm going for governor, my opponents in the other party might want a weak candidate, and so they'll infiltrate. And see, the registrar has not been able to give us an authentic list of party members. And that is why, since the advent of that office, we've not had political party primaries being done strictly based on the party register. Because the party should be able to tell us, in Kayole South, in this school, of the registered voters, these ones are the ones who are on the Jubilee party list, or the ODM, register. And so those are the only ones who can participate. But it's everyone. So I can mobilize ODM people to come to my nomination, or the ODM person can mobilize Jubilee people to come to the nomination. So it's a mess. And unfortunately, I know in the Senate, the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, we've asked the IBC to actually come and sit with us down to explain this roadmap and to agree on certain things. Unfortunately, not much has been done to make sure that we have that hygiene in party primaries. And so that's why you're seeing parties saying that they want to do delegates system for nomination. Others want to have interview. You saw Jubilee did interviews for Kiamba, because the veracity or the purity of a nomination process has been lost over time. So
why is UDA the hot cake right now? The defections, most of them covered, are going into that basket. Hemorrhaging is Jubilee and other parties. What do you attribute that to?
Because you see, UDA is from Jubilee. So you can't have people moving from, osmosis, you move from high concentration to low concentration. You can't have people moving from UDA to Jubilee, because it's the new thing. And there are people who think that there's fatigue within Jubilee, because I'm sure many of the defections, very few are from other parties outside Jubilee into UDA. It's within Jubilee. So they feel after 10 years, people have some fatigue. And what we expected to have been done within Jubilee is a revamp, re-energizing of the party. Maybe even some small, some rebrand. Because today, those who are going through issues will say, my issues are attributed to this party. And so there are those who are afraid of that tag. And I mean, there are things that we could have done. But I think the series of blunders that the Jubilee leadership has, taken part in, the mistakes that the party leadership have done, are what have resulted into these defections. And there are many more to come that you'll see.
And to your point, Anwar Guru, the governor, Kirinyaga County, early on had written and said that this party needs to revamp. There's a lot of work that needs to happen. Many members of parliament and others have called for, they call them PG, parliamentary group meetings. But the buck stops with the president. So in essence, as a party leader, would you say he's the reason we are seeing this, at least the fallout within Jubilee?
Of course, he can't absolve himself of it, because he's a party leader. But I said the leadership in its entirety, all of them. There are things that Jubilee could have done. Jubilee has a lot of goodwill, by the way, deep down in people's hearts.
Does it? We've seen a lot of disciplinary action, Senator. That's what it has been known for in recent days.
There have been mistakes, but there's goodwill in the hearts of those who voted for it. There's what you expect Jubilee to do. Your family is your family. Even though your parents are acting as I know your children, you'll still have some goodwill. And I know if some things had been done, a few months back, or even now, there could be change.
Like what?
But I doubt there's the political capacity, the ability to actually rejig the party at this point.
Okay.
And so that's why there's a clamor to merge with other parties, and then now have something that looks new. That's what's going on in Jubilee. So
we'll talk a little bit more about that, what you think could have been done to mitigate and avoid the situation that Jubilee finds itself in. You're watching KIVUMBI 2022. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back with our conversation with Senator Johnson Zakaja. Please stay with us.